Hey guys, it's your girl Courtney. Welcome back to Courtney in First Class. If you are new here, thanks for stopping by. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you get notified every time I post a new video. If you're not new here, hey girl, hey, welcome back. Thanks for supporting me. I really appreciate it. So let's dive into today's video. In this video, I want to talk about the craziest things that flight attendants have done while on probation to get axed and fired. I feel like everybody talks about maybe the probation experience, but they don't really give specific examples of the things that people did. Now, some of these things were like, wow, I can't believe they let you go for that. Some of these things were like, girl, what the hell were you thinking? Okay. And so I just want to share some of these with you so that you can learn from their experiences. Now, you may think some of these stories like, I would never make that mistake, and that's great, but clearly there were some people who did not think like that, and that's who this video is for. Okay. So pull up a chair, grab yourself a glass of wine or coffee, because your girl is getting ready to spill the tea. Okay, so these are in no particular order. So we're gonna go ahead and start with the first one. So the first one is when it comes to drinking. I cannot stress this enough. Make sure you guys know your company's alcohol policy, okay? Everybody likes to go out on their layovers and have a good time, and I celebrate that, okay? If y'all have a 20-hour layover in Hawaii and y'all wanna do shots, I'm all for it, okay? Shots, where we at? Shots, okay? However, know your company's policy. Most airlines require you to have gone 8 hours or more between the time you had your last drink up until the time you are required to report to duty, okay? Please do not go out when you know you have a 10-hour layover and you are with your crew and you are drinking till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning and then show up to the plane at 7 o'clock in the morning ready to fly. Because number one, you may not realize that you still smell like alcohol, but you know who does pick up on it? The passengers, TSA, the gate agents, other flight attendants. And even though you may feel fine if you get a random alcohol test, which happens either because you got randomed or because one of your crew members threw in the red flag and called and reported you, even though you feel fine, if they have you do a test and you test positive for alcohol and you've had your last drink less than 8 hours before your report to duty time, you will be fired. And unfortunately, not only will you be fired, because you at this point have failed a Department of Transportation drug and alcohol test, it is going to be damn near impossible for you to get a job as not only a flight attendant, but as any other position that requires you to pass a DOT drug test, okay? That could be that could be a pilot, that could be a truck driver, anything that requires that, okay? So please play it safe. Don't go out. Me personally, if I'm on a layover, if it's not at least 20 hours, I'm not drinking. And it doesn't matter if it's shots, it doesn't matter if it's a glass of wine, it doesn't matter if it's a beer, don't do it, okay? We have literally had people get fired because they went out on a layover, they partied, they got to the airport going through TSA, they don't realize they smell like alcohol, but they do, and a TSA agent reported them, and when they got to the gate, guess who was there? A supervisor to give them a drug and alcohol test. They didn't pass, and guess what? They're now sitting at home because they no longer work for the airline. Don't be that person. Another reason somebody has gotten sent home and from being a flight attendant, and this is also falls in under alcohol. I do not care what other crew members are doing. When we are leaving that aircraft, will I grab waters for my overnight? Absolutely. Will I grab extra pretzels for my overnight? Absolutely, because them pretzels be bomb, you guys. Will I grab a ginger ale? Absolutely. Will I grab alcohol? Absolutely not. Okay. Have I seen it? Yes. Have I been encouraged to, hey, grab a couple glasses of wine or bottles of wine off the plane and meet us at the pool? Yes. Have I done it? No. Okay. I don't care what anybody says. If I were you, I would not do it. Do not, under any circumstances, take any alcohol off of the airplane. In addition to that, do not drink any alcohol while you are on the aircraft. When I'm on the plane, I personally like the spicy tomato. I think it tastes good. Everybody's always side-eyeing me like, ew, you drink that? But basically it's a Bloody Mary mix, okay? But it doesn't have alcohol in it. And so whenever I'm drinking one on the plane, I, number one, always make sure that I never drink it out of the can, because a passenger can see that and it says Bloody Mary mix, but they don't understand that the alcohol has not been added into it. And the last thing I want is for somebody to think that because I'm drinking a spicy tomato that says Bloody Mary mix, that it's alcohol in it, okay? I make sure that my crew members know that yes, I'm drinking a spicy tomato, but no, I have not added the vodka in it, okay? CYA, do not drink any alcohol while you are on the plane. Do not take any alcohol while you are on the plane, okay? Because it's not a good look at all, and you do not want to be put on the radar for this information, okay? Did somebody get caught in our training class for taking alcohol off the plane? They sure did. And then to add insult to injury, they were stupid enough, okay, to be taking shots on social media, okay? Now, everybody knows what our little alcohol bottles look like, okay? How are you turning up with a Deep Eddy, okay? Like, be so for real. And that's literally how they got caught, because they were posting online of them on their layover, partying. Now, what did this happen before the 8 hours? I have no idea. I would hope that they weren't also taking the alcohol off the plane and then showing up to the plane less than 8 hours after they drink it. But at that point, it doesn't really matter. Our social media team, they're nosy, they are looking, and that's all it took was somebody to tag them in a TikTok video. I can't remember if it was TikTok or if it's Instagram, don't really matter, but they basically caught him and they found it, okay? If you are going to be stupid and do it anyway, because you are hard-headed and you want to learn the hard way, at least be smart enough to remove the bottles from your room, okay? Because keep in mind, these companies, these hotels have partnerships with our airlines, and I don't know what they are reporting and what they're not reporting, but I do know if housekeeping goes in your room and they go to clean your trash and you've got several mini alcohol bottles in your trash can, will they report that back to your company? I have no idea. Do you want to take that risk? I have no idea. So with that said, if you are going to be stupid enough to take the alcohol off the planes, at least be smart enough to not throw them in the trash can in the room, and also make sure that they're not in your luggage so that when you're going through TSA, they're popping up on the TSA screen, okay? Use some common sense. So another situation that can get you fired, and it actually did. This one, I actually felt sorry for this girl because I felt like it was not her fault. It was her fault, but it was just poor planning. Like, I felt really bad for this girl, but here's what happened. Oversleeping or not making it to the van when you're supposed to, and a no call, no show while you're on probation, not a good look. You're going home, okay? So in this particular situation, what happened with this girl was she had a layover. I believe it was an Orange County layover, and she decided, I think she had like, I don't know, like a 20-hour layover, but she had basically had like 6 or 7 hours or 8 hours from the morning to the time she had to report. So she had a late report for the van. It may have been like 4 o'clock. So she woke up that morning and decided she wanted to go whale watching. Sounds like a wonderful, great idea, okay? Unfortunately for her, the boat that they went out on, I don't know if they ran out of gas or what happened, but she was basically stranded in the middle of the ocean with no cell phone service. She did not give her phone number to any of her crew members. So her crew members, she didn't tell them, hey, I'm going whale watching. Here's my phone number. Nothing. Okay. So she went out on this excursion and the boat got stuck and she could not make it back to land in time so that she could make it back to the van. So not only was she a no call, no show because she was stuck out in the middle of the ocean and did not have cell phone service, so she couldn't call crew scheduling. It made it worse because she did not have anybody's phone number for where anybody who was flying with her. So they couldn't even attempt to cover for her, contact crew scheduling for her, nothing. Then to add insult to injury, actually, no, it was not Orange County. I can't remember what base it was, but it was actually not a base, because to add insult to injury, she was also a no-show and she was out of base, which basically means if you were out of base and you no call, no show, it makes it so much harder for crew scheduling to replace replace you because they don't have any reserves there. So if you no call, no show and you're in, say, Phoenix, are you still going to get in trouble? Absolutely. But at least you're not going to jack up the whole operation, because all that you need to do is call to the crew room and pull somebody who is on reserve, who's sitting airport standby, and have them come to the gate and work your shift. If you call out and you're in, say, Boise, Idaho, where we don't have crew that is standing by on airport standby, and you're a no call, no show, now you have messed up the entire operation, because crew scheduling now has the deadhead in another flight attendant from out of base, which is going to delay everything, all to cover you because you were a no call, no show. So did she end up getting fired? Yes. Was it her fault? I don't know. Me personally, I'm not going on any type of excursions while I am on probation that are going to prevent me from having telephone access. Okay. I know there are some people who will, let's say they have a layover at JFK and they got 20 hours, they will take one of those little small commuter planes and they will fly to Martha's Vineyard for the day. I'm not doing that while I'm on probation. Off of probation, maybe, because hey, you call in sick and it's only a half a point. But while you're on probation, immediately no, okay? Because you're gonna get fired, and that's exactly what happened to her. So the takeaway from this story is always make sure that somebody from your crew has your phone number, and I would probably save any type of excursions that are going to make you be out of contact for after probation. So another reason that somebody got terminated, actually, I don't know if they got they ended up getting terminated, but I don't know if it was because of this. I think it may have been because they had multiple occurrences and this was the last straw. Yes, we do stay at these hotels, which is an amazing perk and privilege. And yes, we get discounts on room service and all that other stuff. But you guys, make sure you close your tab before you check out of that hotel. Do not be that person that goes to the bar and runs up a $100 alcohol tab knowing that you don't have the money on the card that you put on file, and then you leave the hotel that day and you don't clear your tab and you think that their hotel is not going to call Southwest and let them know that you left a $100 bar tab without sufficient funds to pay it. Ask me how I know, because somebody from our class did it and they're no longer with us, okay? Sometimes we stay in really nice hotels that have mini bars. Do not, and I repeat, do not take anything from the minibar hotel fridges unless you plan on paying for it, because that's an immediate write-up. I don't know if they're going to terminate you for it, but it's not a good look, okay? So I always, me personally, I will sometimes charge things to the room just simply because as employees, if you put down your rewards number for Marriott or for Hyatt's or Hilton's when we stay in those, and you do charge things to the room, you can earn points for like Marriott points or Hyatt points or Hilton points, and those are always great to have. But don't do that if you are not going to close out your tab. If you forget, fine, call the hotel after the fact and settle that bill. But there's no reason why the airline should be calling you because you stayed at a hotel 3 months ago and you did not close out your tab. The first time you do it, I don't know what's gonna happen. They may let it slide and just tell you to pay the bill. But after multiple times, I can guarantee you they're gonna fire you, because at that point it's theft and it's fraud. Okay, so word to the wise, put a credit card on file if you're going to be drinking and all that other stuff, and make sure you close out your tab before you leave. What I usually do is I will go down to the hotel front desk, usually about 15 minutes before my van report time, and I will just check in with the front desk and just confirm, hey, do I have any charges on my bill or on my account that I need to settle? This could be from room service, it could be for anything, okay? So just go ahead and make sure that you are taken care of, because the last thing you want to do is get fired because you charged $8 M&Ms to the hotel and didn't pay it off, and now Southwest is knocking on your door because you frauded them out of $8 M&Ms, okay? Yet another reason why somebody got fired, written up, or let go, and this one is a big one, is the one thing you better make sure you do is know your company's social media policy, because the things that you post online and you say online, regardless to if you think it is a private account or not, can and will get you fired. We just had some situations just recently. If you guys are following the whole, I think his name was Charlie Clark, don't really know the Charlie dude. And we had people who made comments both pro and against, and either way it went against the company's social media policy. Some who were on probation got let go, some who were not on probation, literally the only thing that saved them was the fact that they had union coverage and the union was able to go to bat for them. Okay, not everybody online is your friend. Not everybody online is going to be okay with what you are saying. So if I were you, if what you have to say online is the least bit controversial, don't say it. We live in a society in a cancel culture where people will literally come after you if you say something that they don't like. Is it right? I don't know. Is it a reality of what we're all facing right now? Yes, it is. Okay, so whenever you say something online, I need you to pause and think to yourself, is what I'm getting ready to say right now worth me losing my job if somebody decides to report it? Okay, instead of going back and forth and arguing with these people in the comments, like, don't do it. Okay, because the very first thing they're gonna do is they're gonna go to your profile, they're gonna look to see if there are any context clues about who you work for, and trust and believe everything that you said, they are going to screenshot it and they are going to send it over to your job. Okay, and we've got a very strong social media department and they will be looking for this stuff. Okay, so the last thing you want is for something to go viral because of something you said or did. Do not be out here twerking in your uniform. Okay, I have literally seen it all on TikTok, on Instagram, people arguing on Facebook, and don't let it be you. Okay, like I said, we did have a couple people who got written up or lost their jobs because of something they said online. Just because you think it is a private page, trust and believe there is somebody on that private account that does not like what you said, who you may think is your friend, who is screenshotting everything you're saying and they are sending it over. Okay, my word of advice to you is, if you are going to be on social media, I would create a completely different social media account that does not have your name, does not have a picture of you, does not say where you work, does not say where you live. Basically, it is a stealth ghost account where there is no way to trace it back to you. Then if that case, you want to wild out and say some wild and crazy stuff, then by golly, enjoy yourself. Okay, but please do not do it while you have got pictures of yourself all decked out in your Southwest uniform, or you're talking about what base you're located, or anything like that, okay? Because it will come back to haunt you, okay? So be very, very careful what you say on social media. When you took this job, you agreed to their terms and conditions of what that social media policy is, and you are expected to carry yourself in an appropriate manner, whether you are working or whether you're not working, okay? So unless you want to lose your job, I would be very careful as to what you say on social media. So my last tip that I want to tell you of ways to protect your job, or ways I've seen other people either get terminated or written up, and this one doesn't even have anything to do with you, but it will definitely cause you to lose your job. And I'm actually going to dive deeper into this when I go into my next video and we start talking about non-revving and travel benefits. Be very, very careful who you add to your flight benefits, okay? Because their behavior can come back on you, okay? If you have added somebody to your flight benefits, whether it be your parents, your friends, your boo, your man, whoever, okay, and they show up to that airport and they are acting a fool and they are flying on your non-rev benefits, baby, you are gonna be so fired, okay? You are gonna be so fired. And this ain't even got anything to do with you. There was literally somebody, I shouldn't even laugh because do I feel he deserved it? Absolutely. Do I feel bad for him? Absolutely not. But it sucks that he lost his job. There was somebody who was in the training class before us, and I guess apparently he had his girlfriend on his flight benefits, but he had a side chick on his buddy passes. And the girlfriend, I don't know what happened, but somehow the girlfriend found out about it, and girlfriend showed up to that airport and was acting a whole ass fool, okay? Talking about, I'm on his flight benefits, I'm this, I'm that. Well, she was no longer on his flight benefits because he no longer had a job because they fired him, okay? So I say that to say, be very careful who you add to your flight benefits. And if you're gonna add somebody, you better make sure your side chick don't find out, okay? Because cheating has its consequences, okay? So do I hate that for him? I don't know. Do I love that for her? Absolutely. Because you know what? That was shady. Okay, so if you are going to add people to your flight benefits, make sure that it's somebody that you trust, and make sure that they understand that no matter what happens, if their luggage gets damaged, they're going to need to grin and bear it and file the claim and just shut up, okay? They cannot yell and scream and throw a fit. If their flight is delayed, if they're pulled off of a flight because it's oversold, if the gate agent has an attitude with them, there is so much grinning and bear it that you're gonna have to take when you are flying standby or when you have people flying on your benefits, and you need to make sure that they are crystal clear and they understand that. Me personally, I didn't put nobody on my flight benefits, okay? It is literally my mom, my dad, and my daughter, and that's it. I'm not adding friends, I'm not adding boyfriends, I'm not adding significant others, I'm not adding any of that, okay? Because I am not risking losing my flight benefits because you decided to act a fool. You decided to go to Vegas and get smashed and show up at the airport, and now you're intoxicated on the plane acting a fool, and now I've lost my flight benefits. Because trust and believe, the very first thing that they're gonna do is they're going to pull up whose flight benefits you are flying on, and then you're gonna get a nice phone call from your supervisor, probably telling you to come and visit them and bring in your badge, okay? Because you're no longer working. So don't let that be you, okay? That concludes the rest of my tips or story times of the craziest ways that people have been fired, terminated, or written up during probation. So I say all of this to say, take these tips or the advice that I'm giving you and learn from other people's mistakes. You may have watched this and thought, oh, I would never do that. I personally heard some of these stories and been like, there is no way in hell I would have done that. But clearly there was some people who didn't think like that, because the reason we have these stories is because they did it, okay? So the takeaway here is don't be like them, okay? Be safe out there, you guys. Guard this job with your life because you have worked so hard to get here and you do not want to throw it away while you're on probation, okay? Make sure you're commenting with any questions that you may have. If you are not subscribed to this channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so that you can get notified every time I post a new video. If you are not a flight attendant and you are interested in becoming a flight attendant, but you need help with that resume or your interview skills, I have links down below. Those are services that I offer. I can build you a resume out from scratch that will align to whatever airline you are looking to hire or get hired by. I can also coach you through mock interviews so that you can go into your virtual interviews and your face-to-face interviews ready to slay, okay? Until next time, see you on the jump seat.